Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Look at my crazy hair. Oh my gosh, look at this. I actually did it earlier and then I fell asleep on it, and I have this one sideburn that is like so long. I need to trim them up, and I'm like afraid to do it. I was like sitting in the bathroom, and I was like this. I was just gonna go, oh, like that. But I was afraid that if I did that, I would completely mess up my hair as it is. I guess who cares? But even if I put a hat over it, I don't think it's gonna hold it down. So I was trying to do like water. Like, I remember like doing that when I was a kid, like in high school too. And it wouldn't stay down because I used to have like long sideburns in high school. But anyway, it wouldn't stay down. So do you guys remember? I don't know what was making me think this. I got laughing so hard inside. My mom used to have this tape. And it was like pink. It was like, it looked like Scotch tape, but it was pink. And it was like this cloth tape. And you would like, you could put it like over your bangs or over, like hold down your bangs or over your sideburns and stuff. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? To like hold your hair in place so it would just like stay down after a while. I don't know how I was thinking of that or how I remembered that. But anyway, how are you guys doing? Day 490,000 of being at home. I'm doing okay today. I did another day of just kind of relaxing, and it was really nice because it was a beautiful day outside. I actually listened to my audiobook almost all day today. I have 2 hours left of it. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. It is so good. I have been like really, really blessed this year. Here's my Diet Coke. I'm so excited. I've been really, really blessed to listen to some great books this year. And this book is so different than what I expected it to be. It is definitely a thriller at times. And look at darling Jolene Joe. Here, we'll just hold the can against her face like that. Hold her down for a little bit. I even took an ice cube and like held it up against there, and that wouldn't work. I need a haircut so bad. I need a lot of things, but well, I mean, it's not necessarily a need, is it? But I could just like go in and like shave off all of this beautiful hair. Look at how thick my hair is. But if I did that, like even when I did my hair earlier, it looked like really cute. I was like, it's really long. I used the stuff in it that Elle Leary actually sent me a long time ago because I loved it from Lush. Look at this. That's not a look. That Elle Leary sent me, and it's called Mr. Dandy's Hair Candy. And I'm sure it's like way expired at this point, and I don't really care because I love the smell of it. It smells like something that you would put on your hair like if you were on an island or on a beach or something like that. And I love it, and I just put it in my hair wet, and then I just don't have to really do anything with it after that. My hair looked really cute earlier, but now it doesn't. So that's just kind of how things are. And I was like, nobody cares, Peter, about your darling Jolene Joe kicking herself. Getting 50 and I like to kick. Which reminds me of my weird dreams are back. My weird dreams are back. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a weird dream. It was just vivid. It was like super, super vivid tonight. This dream that I had. But anyway, I don't even know like how to like get into that, how to explain it, but I'll tell you in a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't really do a whole lot today. I actually had a list of like all the videos that I wanted to make and do today and all this kind of stuff. And then I had a list of like 3 different drama videos I was gonna do, and I woke up and I got up late, but I didn't get up super late today. And Alex couldn't fall asleep last night, so he was like still like he was in bed with me like when I got up. We both got up about the same time, and I like walked outside after I made my coffee, and it was so nice today. And I was like, I think I just kind of want to listen to my audiobook a little bit today and just kind of relax. And then we decided to have kind of like a little date night and get a pizza. So, we went and like got a pizza. Well, we parked in the parking lot and they like brought it out to us. And, that was kind of really nice. That was, you know, I hadn't done that since all of this has been going on. So that was interesting. You like call in your order, and it's like this local pizza place that we love called Basbo's. And it was actually one of our very, very first dates ever was Basbo's. And it's kind of been like a mainstay that we go to like through the years. So you just park in the parking lot and tell them what kind of car you have. And then they like were bringing out the pizzas and stuff. And I usually, when I go there, I don't get a pizza. I usually get a Popeye, which is like this baguette bread, and then they put this cucumber dressing on it with like spinach and cheese. It's so delicious. But I was really hungry for pizza, so we both got 2 10-inch pizzas. And I got a quattro formaggio, but with no bacon on it. It was really good. And Alex got a cheese pizza. That was just kind of it. We had a nice little date night, and then... So I took a shower and did my hair so I would look, you know, nicer than I usually look every day, like just throwing on my sweats and a t-shirt, or sweat shorts and a t-shirt. And then, what else? Yeah, I listened to this book all day long. And then, oh, I trimmed my beard today and shaved around here. I did that. And we did some wash. It was just kind of like a really relaxing day. It was really nice. And I'm so into this book that I was like, I just want to finish this book. Like, I want to, like, I love this book. Like, I really want to like get it. I think I'm gonna try to finish it tonight. Like, when I get done vlogging, I think I'm gonna like listen to try to listen to the rest of it. We'll see. It's late. I also want to watch Molly's Game. Before this, I'm not going to watch it tonight. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. But we have all of the RuPaul stuff that was on tonight, and then we also have Molly's Game I want to watch, which is like, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's like a long movie. And tomorrow I am going to make videos. But I'm going to watch that tomorrow night because the book club is on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Molly's Game. And so there's that. And then, yeah, that was it. And then Alex, like did like he didn't do like a Zoom, like sit down meeting. He was just like sitting in the corner actually by the bookshelves. And he called like his friend Sarah and another friend, like the 3 of them were talking. And so I was like, I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit. And Boo Radley came up with me. Oh, that was it. Boo Radley wouldn't eat today. He was being really weird. I don't know what it was. He wouldn't eat any treats, and he wouldn't eat his dinner, and he seemed completely fine. He didn't seem like he was sick or anything like that. He was acting completely normal, but he wouldn't eat his dinner. And so Alex gave Tucker his dinner, and I was like, Alex, like, that's a lot for Tucker. And he was like, well, I didn't want to just put it in the refrigerator. And so I was like, okay. So then after we got done eating the pizza, I gave Boo some food on a plate, and he like, I put him like down in the house with it, like his little cage crate area, and I like put it over it, and I came back down like 5 minutes later, and he had taken the blanket, his like one of the blankets in there, we had these like small blankets in there, and he had like thrown it over the food. I was like, Boo Radley. And he just looked at me like, I don't want to eat this food. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's tired of that food. So if he won't eat tomorrow, we're gonna make him some chicken and rice. But hopefully he will. I don't know. He seemed completely fine. He took a nap with me tonight. Oh my God, I had just like the weirdest dreams. They weren't even like, I don't even know, like they weren't even weird. It was just like the people that were in my dreams were people that like I haven't like thought of in a long time. So I was at this hotel in Chicago, and like Alex and I were staying there together, but he was going out to go like meet a friend, and I didn't want to go. So like he left ahead of me, and I was like reading a book down like stairs and outside, like in the dark, and which makes no sense, right? And like I knew I was like it was like in a parking garage. It was real weird, and I knew like I was being followed. I'm sure it's something like about me being in this car late at night, but I knew I was like being followed. And then I came inside, and all of a sudden I was like I had changed and I looked nice. I had like on a nice pair of jeans, and I had on like this turtleneck, black turtleneck, and I had on like these shoes from Aldo, or not Aldo, ASOS, that I bought. It's Aldo anyway, isn't it? Remember when that was the thing? Does anybody shop at Aldo anymore? I haven't been there in forever. But anyway, and then like I was riding this like elevator. I would just like kept on riding it like up and down, up and down. Not elevator, escalator. And like even though the hotel in my dream like made no sense, like I had never been there before, like I kept on thinking like I've been here like a lot before, like I knew this hotel. And it was really, really busy, and it was like 2 floors, and it was like this huge lobby down like on the first floor, and then the second floor where you took these escalators up and down was like another huge floor, like on top of each other. It was kind of like the Water Tower in Chicago. And like there was like this bar, like this restaurant, and then there was like all these tables, and people were just sitting everywhere and like talking and whatever. And there was these huge like couch sections that people were like sitting on and stuff with like tables. And anyway, it was just I kept on seeing people from like far away that I was like, oh, there's so and so, and there's so and so, and whatever. So anyway, Alex came back and like met up with me, and we were getting ready to go back to the room, and we ran into these girls that we used to know and used to hang out with. And they're like, sit here with us for a little bit, and we sat there with them for a little bit. And then like I walked by this like table. I was going to the bathroom, and I like walked by this like huge couch section, and there was like this woman and like her kids, and then like these other 2 women, and they said something, and they said, you should ask Peter Monn, like he would know. And I was like, who's talking about me? And like I turned and I looked back, and it was these 3 women that I know from sobriety, and they're always like together, and they're just diehard friends of mine, that like not diehard friends that like I see like, what is this car coming down here so late at night? That's weird. That like I hang out with all the time, right? But like back in the day, I used to hang out with them quite a bit. And so whenever I see them now, and they're always together, and I always see them at like this certain meeting that I go to sometimes, but I don't see them as often as I used to. So like whenever and they're like older than me. They're like probably 15 years plus older than me. And they're so friendly, and they're so nice, and I love them so much. And so every time I see them, they always like kid me and joke with me and all this kind of stuff. I met them like right after I came back from like not having gone to meetings for a while, but they have about as much sobriety time as I do. And so, but I used to always see them at this meeting that I'd go to, right? And so it was weird. Like I haven't like thought of them in a while and whatever, because obviously I haven't been to that meeting, you know, and it's not one of the meetings that I'm like Zooming or anything. And, before that, I hadn't seen them for a while. And so I was like, oh my God, how are you? And so we sat there, and it was like Alex and I sitting with them talking, and there was like this big group of people, and we were all just like sitting in this hotel room talking, or this hotel booth area, or this couch area talking for like ever. And but it was like, that's why I say it wasn't like a weird or scary dream, because it was very comforting. The dream was very, very comforting. These women, whenever I see them, it's always like, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily like maternal to me. They're like older sister types. And they've been friends for like 10, 15 years. And they're just so nice to me. And so when I saw them, I just felt so comforted in my dream. It was just the weirdest dream, because like, I don't know, it just was I don't know, I just like, I don't think I've ever in my life had a dream about them. You know what I mean? Like not, and it was just like us sitting in this hotel lobby, like talking, like all of us for like hours. And like Alex was eating out of this bowl of peanuts, and like, and he was sitting there and he was like, can you hand me those peanuts? And there was like this silver like bowl of peanuts, and they kept on like passing them back and forth. And oh, and that was the other thing, is like people kept on coming up that like we knew, and it wasn't like, it was like people that Alex and I knew, but it wasn't from like one specific thing or another. It wasn't from like going out here or doing this, or I mean, it was like all different kinds of people kept on coming up. They were like, Alex, Peter, it's so good to see you. I don't know, it was like it was like a happy dream. It was like a really positive dream. It just was vivid. It was like very, very vivid. Like I woke up and I felt like I had just been there. Like literally felt like I had just been there. I don't know. I need to reach out to them tomorrow. Obviously. They'll get a kick out of it when I'm like, okay, I had a dream about you. So I'll start a little group text tomorrow. But isn't that hilarious? I don't know what that was about. They always call me by my first and last name too, which I think is really funny. Like, you know, especially because like the whole sobriety thing. But it's like this one woman, and it's because like she and I became like, she thought my last, like she would say like Peter Monn, like, and she thought it was like funny when she first heard it. And she's really sweet. Look at this hairdo. This is a hairdo, is what it is. But anyway, and she was the one in my dream that was like, ask Peter Monn, he would know, like that. And like she always like if I see them, she'll be like, you know, like, oh, there's Peter Monn. She kind of like says my name with kind of like a little funny twang. I love them. I don't know, maybe it was a dream about me feeling, you know, like all these anxiety dreams, but then I have people in my dreams that I could be leaning on. Maybe that's what it is a little bit, I guess. I need to reach out to them. I've reached out to so many people, and so many people have reached out to me that I haven't talked to in like a long time. It's been really nice, you know? It's been like just... like, all of a sudden, I'll just get, like, some random text from somebody. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't heard from this person in the longest time. But it's been nice. It's been really nice. Who was I talking to the other day? I was talking to a friend of mine. And they're like, now, like, they said something about my vlog. Like, they don't watch my vlog. Who was it that I was talking to? I think it might have been Melissa. But she like knows what I do, you know, like when I vlog and drive around. And she's like, or maybe it was Jason, her husband. I can't remember. She was like, now, when did I talk to Jason last on the phone? I think it was Melissa. She was like, now, I know you, like, you know, can't be, like, you know, necessarily drive around all night long like you used to do. She's like, but could you still sit, like, in the driveway and, like, you know, just talk in the car from the driveway and, like, and I was like, yeah, that's what I do, Melissa. And I think I had already told her that, too. And she's like, oh, that's so funny. I'm like, yeah, I do that. She's like, now, like, once a week, twice a week? I go, oh, no, like, every night for, like, 2 hours. She was like, oh, my. She says oh my to everything. It doesn't seem long. It really doesn't. Like, especially like if like last night, like I was thinking about this because my vlog last night came to 2 hours and 5 minutes. And I was like, I had a lot to talk about last night. I mean, I had nothing to talk about, let's just be for real. But I had like a lot to talk about as far as like this and that, you know, whatever. I was just thinking, I have all these stories that are like real funny of these women that I'm friends with, but like, I don't know how to tell them, like, and I can't tell them, if that makes sense, as far as like, you know, keeping anonymity, but I've just met some of the most amazing people since I've been sober. I just feel so blessed. That is one of the really cool things about Zoom meetings right now, is like, you know, so like my home group is on Tuesday nights, and it's been around for like 20 plus years. It's been longer than that. It's been around for like 40 years. 30 years, 40 years, somewhere in between 30 and 40 years. And so there are a lot of people that used to go to it and have moved away from Indianapolis. Like they've retired and moved away, or they've gotten new jobs and they live other places. But there's a lot of people that used to go consistently and they don't go to it anymore, right? Well, let's just say they're in, you know, California or something. They can now like Zoom and join us. So like we get to see a lot of people that like I haven't seen in years. So it's really fun because I'm like, oh my God, there's so-and-so, you know, like, and it's just really, really cool because you get to see a lot of people that you saw week after week that were like really a pivotal part of your life. And then all of a sudden they were just gone one day because they moved, you know, and not because of anything negative that happened. They just like, life changes, you know. And I think that's like one of the hardest things with life is most of the friendships that I have, like, I wouldn't say lost, but most of my friendships that we used to be super, super close and we're not anymore is because of that, because people moved, you know. It's like, and I think I'm more cognizant today of how difficult that is than how I was when I was younger. Like when I was younger, I would be like, at any cost, we're going to keep this friendship going and we're going to stay in contact and whatever. And then what happened was we would, but you know, like at first it would be like phone calls several times a week. And then I would meet new people and they would meet new people in their new place, right? And so it would be like once a week and then every other week and then once a month. And, you know, and then after a while it's like every 6 months, you know, then once a year. And it's just like over time, the friendship kind of like fades. Alex actually, he has a couple friends that have like moved away. Sarah lived in LA for 9 years and, they would do, like, I don't think there was a day, because, like, she's his best friend, like Tanya is mine. I don't think there's a day they didn't talk, honestly. Like, even when we were on vacation, like how Tanya and I are. But they would do, like, twice a week, they would do, like, FaceTime, or whatever, like, a phone date. They would have a phone date, is what Alex would call it. And he has another friend of his that moved to California, and they do the same thing. And, you know, I always was really impressed with how they kept that up because, I don't know, it was just like back in the day, I feel like I've lost a lot of friendships. Like, nothing happened. Like, if I called those people up, it'd be like the same as it, you know, was back in the day. I know it wouldn't be the same as it was. Too much time has gone by. But what I mean is, like, there was nothing negative that happened with the friendship other than we just, like, moved our separate ways. You know what I mean? And I think, it's hard. It's hard to keep those, especially when, like, they're friends of mine that, like, when we were friends, we were, like, single people going out and doing single people things, like going out to bars and hanging out and whatever, you know, or, like, early in my, you know, like, working and things like that. And then they got married and had kids and settled. I mean, their life looks completely different than it did. So when we catch up, it's typically like, well, you know, like, John took this promotion and he's doing this, and Sally and Judy are in soccer, and Sally's, you got a vocal coach. I mean, like, that's the conversations, which is fine, you know, but it's like our lives are so completely different. And I think there's not a lot in common as there was back in those days. I think it's hard, you know, friendship, like, maintaining friendships for 20, 30, 40 years are really, really tough. It's really tough. And you have to put a lot of work into it. You know, when I think about my friendships right now that I have in my life, which is literally like 3, you know, I think like Valerie, I've known for like 2 or 3 years. But she and I have so much in common. And just kind of like connect always. And really never like even the things that we differ opinions on, it's like we respect each other about that, you know? And then Melissa and I, like, well, we've been friends since, so Melissa and Jason and Alex and I met like 2 weeks before we got married. And so this will be 9 years this year that we've been friends. I can remember meeting them. We were sitting next to them in a VIP section. We were both friends with the same people at this bar downtown that owns the bar. And we were sitting next to them, and Melissa had a couture pop from Sugar Factory, and we started talking, and they had just gotten back from Las Vegas. And we started talking about how we were going to Las Vegas. And they said, well, what are you going to Las Vegas for? And we said, we're going to get married. And I can remember, like, Alex and Melissa, like, their banter the whole night was, like, so funny. And Jason was like, oh, my God, they need their own reality show. And it was so funny, like, just the two of them listen and, like, talk over each other. We had just such a great night. It was such a fun night, the four of us. And then the following weekend, Alex and I had a joint bachelor party together at this bar called Subterra. Doesn't exist. Well, it exists, but it's called something else now. And it was this really awesome bar that our friends owned. And like you walk downstairs and it was like this underground bar. And we had like 3 of our friends here in town that are like DJs. Like they DJ'd it for us. And because Alex and I used to go out all the time, so we were really, really good friends with some of the DJs here in town. And our friends, like 2 or 3 of our friends arranged the bachelor party for us. It was nice. We didn't have to do anything. And they just asked us basically who we wanted to show up. And so it was joint. Like Alex asked like half the people, and then I asked like half the people. It was really fun. And Tanya and Eric came, and some friends of mine from high school came. It just was really, really a good time. And Melissa and Jason showed up. And I just look back on that, and I think it's so funny. Like, if you had said to me at that time, these people will become your closest friends that are couples. Like as a couple, they're like who we do everything with. Like, this will be your... I would have said no, like that won't be the case. But it would have surprised me a little bit. But it totally makes sense in retrospect. I mean, like, none of us have kids. Our lives are very similar, you know. So anyway, and I remember they bought us a wedding present. And it was like this bar. It was like this black and steel bar set. It had, like, ice scoop things. It was really nice. I think it was from Crate & Barrel, actually. And I was like, you guys don't have to do this for us. Like, you didn't have to do this. It was so nice. And I remember, like, we got back from Las Vegas, and Melissa has always been good at reaching out to people, which I think is a very important trait, you know, to be somebody that reaches out and invites people to do stuff. I wish I was more of that person than I am, but my social anxiety, I don't like to be the arranger of things. I like to just, you know what I mean? Like, I struggle with that. I've gotten better in the last year or two, but I'm not as great as I could be. But Melissa has always been that person. And I remember we came back from our wedding, and it was literally, we had been back in town like a day or two, and Melissa reached out, and she was like, hey, we'd like to take you guys out to dinner for like your wedding, and you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, that's not necessary. And she's like, well, we'd really like to see you guys and get to know you guys a little bit more. And I remember we went out to dinner, and it's like never stopped. And we've become like, I mean, we stayed at their house during a blizzard, you know, like, we do, like, family dinners with them. Like, they're just such diehard friends of ours. So it's, like, Melissa, and Jason, you know, and then Tanya. And that's basically, like, other than, like, my sponsor, well, I have, like, you know, recovery friends of mine, but I have, like, 2 really, really, like, good Judys that are sober that I talk to, like, every other day. And then I have my sponsor. And I'm so thankful that my sponsor, and I mean, like, you know, I have friendly relationship with her where, you know, we talk a lot about recovery, but we talk a lot not about recovery too. We talk about other stuff as well. And that's always the relationship that I wanted to have. It's going to stop. Hold on a second. Okay. That's always the relationship that I wanted to have with my sponsor, especially at 25 years sober. I want to have somebody that I'm friends with that I can say, like, no matter what is going on in my life, that I can call her up and be like, hey, I'm like really excited about this, or I'm really happy, like you know, whatever, or hey, I'm really upset about this, or whatever, but also that I can just call her up and be like, what's going on? You know, 9 times out of 10 these days, because she's, you know, single and lives alone with her dogs, I call her up and I'm like, I just checking, are you doing okay? Like, you know, what's going on? Do you need anything? So she just is such a fantastic person, you know, and like a lot of what we talk about has nothing to do with sobriety. But our common language, I would say, is sobriety, you know? Like, even if we're talking about, like, wanting to take a trip. Like, if we were going to have a conversation and we were talking about, like, God, I miss going on vacation because she loves to travel, and so do I. You know, like, we've had that conversation. At some point in the conversation, it'll go to, but I feel really blessed for what I have right now. And then we'll go and we'll start talking about gratitude. Like, it just, but that's how Tanya and I are too. Like, it's hard not to have a conversation where stuff just doesn't come up. You know what I mean? And, like, recovery stuff doesn't come up. I don't know. But those have been like, you know, and then Melissa and Tanya have basically been, until I, you know, started hanging out with Valerie, were like the friends that I had for a long time, you know? When I came back in and I was going to 2 meetings a day, 7 days a week, I became friends with a lot of people that were early in sobriety because I was going to all these meetings at this recovery clubhouse, right? And there's always, like, at recovery clubhouses, there's a lot of people in early sobriety because there's a lot of sobriety there. You can just kind of hang out all day long if you want, and there's, you know, 2 to 6 meetings a day. It's basically, I mean, it is just like a meeting hall, like, for meetings. But then a lot of them have, like, you know, coffee shops where you can buy, like, candy and food and coffee and drinks and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's libraries there that you can sit and, like, borrow books and read. You can do, like, step study. You can meet with your sponsor or sponsees there. You just hang out, smoke cigarettes. Like, I mean, you can, you know, go get coffee and come back and hang out. They usually, you know, like, the one that I used to go to had this really nice little, like, covered patio out back that everybody would sit in and just, like, talk and stuff like that. So I became friends at that point with, that's how I actually became friends with these women, because there was a certain meeting that they used to go to. But that was, like, where there was, like, a lot of people that had, like, long-term sobriety. Throughout the day, there would be, like, a handful of people that had long-term sobriety, but the majority of the people had less than a year. And most of the people had around, like, most of the people had less than a year of sobriety. But there would then be, like, let's say 10 people that had anywhere from 2 years to, like, 10 years. I would say, like, that was kind of that, either under a year or 2 years to 10 years was kind of the average in the room. So I became friends with a lot of people that had about that time. And at one point, we started a candlelight meeting, and it's now defunct. It doesn't exist anymore. I wasn't, like, I helped, like, get the word out, but I wasn't the person that, like, started it. But there were, like, 25 of us in this meeting regularly, and that might be pushing it. 15 to 20 every week. And after the meeting, we would all go out to eat at Steak and Shake. Well, Alex and I had made this deal that Friday nights were date nights. Saturday nights, he would go out and do his thing, and I would go to a meeting, and I would do this thing, you know? And then I would usually also hang out with this friend of mine when her kids were with their dad for the weekend. She and I would stay up late and, like, listen. We would go to Steak and Shake, and then we would, like, go back to her house, and we would, like, drink coffee on the patio and all this kind of stuff. She was, like, one of my diehard friends back then. But, like, see, her kids have gotten older, and she got a new job, and, like, life changes, you know? It's like, yes, we're still just as good of friends as we were back then, but, like, life has changed, you know? And that's the other thing I think that is real consistent with recovery, especially, like, when you become friends with people that are early in sobriety, which is, like, if you go to meetings where there's, like, a lot of mixed sobriety, then you're obviously going to meet people, but like, at this point, I'm probably not going to meet somebody that has 10 or 20 years of sobriety that I don't already know, unless I go to a meeting that I've never been to before, right, which I started doing a lot of, or somebody moves into town that has 10 or 20 years, because the majority of the people, or the majority of the meetings that I go to, I already know everybody, obviously. I mean, I know literally everybody at my home group meeting, right? So, but when I was going to Clubhouse, you know, like, I think at the time that I met her, she had, like, 2 or 3 years. I can't remember. And she and I became, like, really, really good friends, and, like, Alex really liked her, and she was really sweet. There were some other people that I became friends with, that had, I would say, between, like, 2 and 3 years. But that's also a pivotal time for people, like, in sobriety, because they're getting their lives back, right? So what would happen was I would become friends with all these people, and then within, like, a year and a half, like, their life looked completely different. Like, they had gotten their, you know, like, new jobs and new careers, and, you know, their family situations looked different. A lot of them were getting in new relationships, you know? So, yeah, a lot of those people that I became friends with during that time, but I was kind of like a newcomer when I came back in. I mean, I hadn't been to a meeting in 4 years, you know? So when I came back in, I was, like, thirsty for recovery. And I was going to so many meetings every single day, and I was just, like, you know, like, listening to whatever. And somebody would be like, do you want to go get lunch? And I'd be like, yeah, let's go get lunch, you know? And, so it was nice. It was safe. It was really safe. Like, I'm so thankful for that Clubhouse. But my sponsor at the time, like, worked there, so I would see him every day too. Like, that was another thing, is I would go there and I would, like, hang out with him and sit and talk in the office and whatever. But it was just really safe. It was a safe time of my life. I mean, I don't feel any less safe now, except for sitting out here in the driveway late at night. But, like, I don't know. It was just, like, a really nice time of my life, you know? It was, like, throughout the week, you know, I would go to a meeting, and then I would come home, and then Alex and I would, like, watch a movie and then go to bed. And I was going to bed early. And I would get up and, like, do a bunch of stuff that I had to do in the morning, like work stuff, and then I would go to a noon, and then I would do some stuff in the afternoon if I didn't go out to lunch, and then in the evening I would, like, go pick up a friend, and we would go get coffee, and then we would go to, like, the 8 o'clock, and then I would come home afterwards, and then, like, Alex and I would watch a movie or a TV show together, and we would go to bed. I mean, I was going to bed early. I was going to bed at, like, by midnight every night, 11 or midnight. And I've always been a night owl anyway. But, like, that was, like, a period where, like, I don't know, I felt like, I can remember getting up and going to 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock meetings, you guys. Like, that is crazy to me that I used to go to, like, there was a 9 o'clock meeting that I went to pretty regularly. And, I think, like, I've lost a lot of people that way, too, because people that I used to see regularly, like, every single day at those meetings, like, I stopped going to those meetings, and I started, like, well, a couple years ago, I started going to completely different meetings because my sponsor suggested it, and then I got a different sponsor, and then now I have a new sponsor, and so I've switched my meetings around. That was probably 5 years ago, but at the time that I started YouTube, was when I was going to those meetings. And then I did it for a couple years, and it was all candlelight. So I was going to all candlelight meetings at that time. And I loved it. I loved going to all candlelight meetings. There's something so peaceful and serene. And I remember also like being so surprised because these were at 2 different clubhouses. In the first clubhouse that I went to, like at that candlelight meeting, like we couldn't have real candles in the clubhouse. So we had like those fake candles that, you know, like you turn on the bottoms have, you know, like batteries in them. But at the other clubhouse, we did use real candles. And so, I mean, there was just such an ambiance about the meeting being so peaceful and serene. It really was. Like I can remember walking into that meeting some nights when it had snowed like a half a foot outside and it was still snowing, you know, when I walked inside and being like cold and having like a huge cup of coffee sitting there in a styrofoam cup, you know, and I remember the cups of coffee were like $1.50 for like a large. And that was another thing was like, I had never really been to like, and that wasn't even considered like a Skid Row meeting, but I had never been to meetings where that like the meeting was like a poor meeting. And what I mean by that is like at most of the meetings I had ever been to in my entire life, you didn't pay for coffee. Like coffee was free. Like they had coffee sitting up there. You just came in and got your cup of coffee. Well, at a lot of these meetings that I was going to, they couldn't afford, like, you know, because 12-step meetings are self-supporting. So they couldn't afford coffee because they could barely afford the rent. Like, so you base the rent off of how many people come and whatever, because it's fully self-supporting, so they pay rent wherever they are. And they could basically hardly, you know, pay rent because nobody was donating money to these meetings except for a few people. So if you wanted coffee, you had to buy your own coffee. And I remember, you know, like often people would like buy a pot of coffee and donate it to the meeting. And like, I mean, 10 people would be up for cups of coffee when that happened. It was just very genuine. It was just a very raw meeting and I loved it. And it was really, really good for me at that point to see that these are people that are literally hanging on by a hair, like to life. Like, they literally only have their sobriety. Like, that's all they have, you know? And I can remember just, like, sitting in those meetings and just being mesmerized by hearing some of the things that people said and how full of gratitude they were for how very little they had in their lives. It was a real turning point for me in my life, you know? I think before that, you know, I started thinking like, I mean, like, this is where I say, don't get me wrong, like, brands and labels and all that kind of stuff, I love that stuff just like everybody else does. I mean, if somebody tomorrow gifted me like a Louis Vuitton backpack, I would love it, you know? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be a BS artist. But I think, like, there was a period of my life where that stuff held a lot of importance to me. And as much as I like that stuff or to look at stuff or whatever, I think it all happened for me at a really important time. I think it just really realigned what is very important in my life, and it's the relationships, and it's the people, and it's the qualities that the people in my life have, you know? And I was taught a lot of humility during that time, and I was taught practicing gratitude for every little thing that I have, and I don't know, it was just a really special time of my life. And it was funny, I've told this story before, but like a friend of mine took me to these meetings. He didn't end up staying sober. And he and I would go to the meetings, and then after, well, no, that was before that we would go to like Waffle House and stuff, but he took me to this meeting one night. He was like, let's go to this meeting, this candlelight on Wednesday night, which I ended up like being the chairperson for 2 years after that. But it was really, really I learned the literature like nobody's business, because that's all we did for 2 years was read literature. And I'm like, look back on that and I was like, that's a God thing. Like, I was supposed to be there. Like, you know, 18 years sober, and sure, I could like quote literature, but I didn't really understand it. Like, I don't know that I really understood it until I sat there and heard it, you know, from people that had 10 days and a year and 14 years and 20 days. You know what I mean? Like, I needed to hear it from all different kinds of people. It was really valuable for me. And I can remember sitting in that meeting one night when the electricity went out in the entire neighborhood. I can remember when sitting in that, you know, those meetings when, and we stayed, you know, I can remember sitting in those meetings when, like, it was horrible, like, snowstorms outside, and that was the one night, it was on a Sunday night, that I came home from, and I got stuck on the ice storm from, because on Sunday nights, the meeting ended at 10:30, it started at 9:30 and went to 10:30, and I got stuck on the interstate in an ice storm from, like, probably 10:45 was by the time that I hit it, until, like, 5 that morning. I was in an ice storm. But, you know, I don't know that I would trade it for anything, like, looking back on it. I can remember being so scared when I was coming home. And, like, Alex was so good. He kept on staying on the phone, and I was afraid, like, my phone... I didn't have, like, a phone charger, I think, or something. And I was afraid my phone was gonna die, and, that was just a crazy night. But I remember I couldn't get in through the gate, the back gate, because it, like, goes up like this. And I would go up, and even though it's, like, really, like, a short grade, like, I still couldn't get it up. Like, whoo, family friendly. I still couldn't get up the, what do you call it? Up to the back gate. And so, like, Alex was like, go around. Well, our entire neighborhood kind of all goes up like this. Like, not just this neighborhood, but the neighborhood outside it, too. The streets are kind of, like, steep and kind of, like, up and down. So I had to, like, literally go all the way over. And this is at, like, this point, it's, like, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm, like, over it, right? And I'm talking to Alex on the phone, and, you know, he's thinking he's gonna have to work the next day, and I'm like, I knew he wasn't gonna have to work the next day, and he's been so nice. Like, every time I call him, he stays on the phone. So I had to go all the way out and then around, completely around our neighborhood, and so I could come down this street into our neighborhood. Well, this street here is like this, okay? You could, like, sled down it. And I started, like, coming down, and then I, like, was like, I'm gonna lose control of my car, and I'm gonna put my car in a ditch. And I remember I called Alex, because I stopped, like, right after I started, and I told him, he goes, just park your car and walk the rest of the way. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And he was like, just park your car and walk the rest of the way. We'll get it tomorrow. And I was like, no, I don't want to just leave my car here on the side of the street. Somebody could hit it, you know? And, I don't really remember how I ended up getting in that night. Because I was afraid, like, because we have, like, a guardhouse, I was afraid I would hit the guardhouse, and it's all, like, this big brick guardhouse. And I thought I was just going to keep on sliding down, either put my car in the ditch or hit the guardhouse, because I couldn't go around it, you know? So, anyway, I don't remember how I did get in that night. I got in this way. I think I went, because there's, like, you can go side street and then side street and then side street around, and I think that's what I ended up doing to get in. But, man, I was so scared that night. I prayed like nobody's business to make it home safe. I would, like, after, like, they started letting us go on the interstate, you would see cars that had been, like, waiting forever all of a sudden come down, like, on the, like, the left-hand side, and they would just, like, literally people, I'm not even lying, were going, like, 5 miles an hour on the interstate, if even that. Like, it was snail's pace, okay, because people were so scared. The exit ramps, if they went down, if the exit ramp, and this was where I didn't know how I was going to get home, because every exit ramp in Indianapolis either goes up or goes down. And I was like, which one's a better, and there was one that goes like this. If you know what I'm talking about, it's the one that goes into Castleton off of 6937. It's the 86th Street exit. And I was like, I'll surely put my car in a ditch that way. And I was like, which one's better? Because if you, as I was watching, cars that were going up would go up halfway, and then they would start coming back, and then they would just go into the side. Cars that were going down were going right into the ditch. So it was like, well, which way do you go? You know? And I'm like sitting there and I'm like panicked and freaked out about the whole thing, and I don't know what to do. And so I ended up doing the Keystone exit, I think. I think I did the Keystone exit off of 465 because I remember thinking it through and being like, the Allisonville exit goes up, the Keystone one is like a slow thing, and there were like more lanes, and I was like, so if you lose it, you're at least going down, and you can just put your car in the ditch, and at least you know you're safe, but the car will have to be pulled out. I think that's what I ended up doing. I was scared though. I was like really scared that night. And, but these cars would come by and they would literally be going like 50 miles an hour. It was black ice. You could not see on this ice. And because they couldn't salt it or do anything to it because there were so many cars out on the interstate, it literally this is what had happened. I went to this meeting. As I showed up to the meeting, it started like misting rain, okay? It was never like pellets of rain. It was like started like this misting of rain. It was the weirdest thing. And we had this ice storm, and it like within an hour, from 9:30 to 10:30, it was undrivable. Like absolutely undrivable. The interstate was just closed down for hours. Well, when they opened it back up, people would drive down the side. They just zoom like that. And then you would come up to them like a mile down the road and their car was like completely wrecked and they were on the side of the road. It was really sad. So many accidents that night. So many accidents. But we haven't had weather like that in a while. We missed that completely this winter. We didn't really have any bad winter at all, as you know I complained about. And now it's almost May. Who's gonna get in shape with me in May? Who wants to put bets on the fact that I'll either stick to it or I won't? That's the question right there. I'm kind of excited about it a little bit. I'm trying not to buy any more crap food until May 1st, because I don't want to I want to eat what I have now. I don't want to have a bunch of like crap in the house, like chips and cookies, and I want it gone. Like when May 1st hits, I want that stuff gone. And I think I'm going to start doing the Optavia again. And if I'm at home and like I can't go anywhere, well, the way I look at it is that'll even make it better, because then I can be on the structured diet and it's not like I can go anywhere. And I'm going to start walking at home until I can go back to the gym. And I'm going to try to really do it this time. Like I'm really, like, kind of wrote out a little plan and all that kind of stuff. I'm excited about it, but like I'm nervous about it because I feel like there's something different in me that feels a little bit more committed this time. I've said that so many times. I mean, I have said that so many times, haven't I? It's hard. I've struggled with it so long in my life, you know? I feel like I've always, to some degree, struggled with my weight. And I know I'm a food addict, too. Like, I know that. My sponsor and I have talked so many times about, like, applying steps to my eating and things like that. And, but in the moment, sometimes, like, I don't really care, I think I don't really care in the moment when I'm just wanting to like stuff my face with potato chips and onion dip. Like, I really don't, you know? Like, I'm just like, okay, I want to be happy for right now, and this makes me happy. Which that's very like addict kind of talk, you know? But like in that moment, that's like really how I feel. I'm just like, I just want to really enjoy this and not have to be too stressed out about life, you know? I can remember those hours sometimes of sitting. I don't know why it was. Well, summer was too sometimes, because we would get there, you know, and And we were standing outside with everybody, and at my meetings and that I used to go to at that one clubhouse. But especially in the winter, there was something real special about it. I don't know. And I don't know. Now, I don't really talk to a whole lot of the people that used to go to that meeting. My old sponsor I talk to sometimes, but I don't really talk to a whole lot of people. He doesn't go to those meetings either. And I don't talk to he goes to meetings, but he doesn't go to those meetings. I don't talk to a whole lot of people that used to go to that meeting. Now, Tanya, my sponsor, and I one night, we went there not too long ago, like 2 months ago or something. I talked about it on here. I don't remember when. But anyway, we went to a candlelight at that clubhouse that I used to go to. There was not one person there that I knew, and which was weird because back in the day, like, I knew everybody that came into those meetings, and there was like 6 or 7 of us that like came consistently like every week to every candlelight, and I didn't know anybody there. And then I was kind of like, and a lot of the people I hadn't talked to like in forever. A couple people I like run into every once in a while, like in like kind of strange places. This one girl that I used to go to the meetings with, like I see her quite a bit at other meetings. And somebody that used to go to that meeting, he stopped going to that meeting though, like long before that. I see him, but a lot of the people I don't know what happened to them, you know. Makes me kind of sad. But for a long time, they were real important, you know? And, I think that was a real, like, that was a point of my life where I needed some, like, solid stability, and I needed to know that I could find peace and serenity within myself, because I felt real lost, like, just in life in general at that point. Like, I really felt like I had no direction. That was, like, before I got on, like, right before I got on YouTube. Probably a year before that was when I started going there. I don't know that if it hadn't been for me going to those meetings at that specific, like, those specific meetings, and it wasn't just at that clubhouse, there was, like, other places that I went to, but they were all candlelights. I don't think if I hadn't been going to those meetings at that time and had the sponsor that I did, I don't know that I would have ever ended up on YouTube, honestly. I really lacked any kind of confidence. My social anxiety was through the roof. I started doing some service stuff from going to those meetings that I would never have done before because I was so, like, uncomfortable socially. So it really forced me out of my comfort zone. I don't know that I would be on YouTube right now if it wasn't for that. I think I also learned, I grieved my mom a lot. Like, that was like the final stages of me grieving my mom. And I think I really realized, the battery just, like, it was so funny. It was like at full and then it just went to half. I think I also realized in that meeting, like, I knew it before, but I didn't really get it until I started talking about, like, my hopes, my dreams, my fears, you know, and I felt really comfortable at those meetings. And, I think I really got it, like, how short life is and how fragile life is. And I think that led me to that day, you know, being outside of, or sitting at the table, like, to make the booktube video and just being like, let's do this. And I knew if I was going to start it, I was going to be committed to posting videos on a regular basis. And that was that day that I filmed that booktube video, I remember. I can remember saying out loud to myself something to the effect of, like, are you ready to do this? Or are we going to do this? Or something like, I said something like that out loud. I was like, let's just do it. And, I mean, all of this, I don't think, you know, any of my channels would exist if it wasn't because of that. And, can remember the Sunday night meeting that I used to go to. Oh, it's gonna stop, hold on. So Sunday night meeting for a while was my home group, because that was my sponsors meeting that I went to with him. And a home group is just a meeting that you make a commitment to that you're gonna go to on a regular basis. But we had candy at this meeting, and so we like bags of Halloween candy, and there was always like, you know, little candy bars in front, and it was a candlelight meeting, and it was from 9:30 to 10:30. It was very spiritual. It was actually once a month we would have somebody come in and speak, and my sponsor now, she came in there and she spoke, and I'll never forget her lead, and it changed my life. I'm forever grateful I was sitting there that night when she gave her lead. It literally changed my life. And it was like one thing that she said, because I knew her, I mean, we've been friendly before, but nothing like we are now. But like, it was one thing that she said in her lead, and I can remember, she said something to the effect of like, I've talked about this on here before, but it doesn't matter anyway. It was one thing that she said that just like, so clicked with me, and I was like, okay, yeah. And but I can remember sitting in those meetings, and you know, with a cup of coffee. Sometimes I would get a fountain pop, but if it was in the winter, I usually got a cup of coffee in the canteen or the coffee shop, and we never called it the canteen, we called it the coffee shop. And then like we would like sort out like who got what candy bars, you know, like I know I like Snickers and like the 100,000 grand bars, and like, you know, like the, you know, one of my other friends would be like, can I have like the Milky Ways? And I give him the milk, you know what I mean? And then we would sit there and we would like go around the group, and sometimes there would be 10 people and sometimes there would be 30 or 40, you know? And I can just remember leaning my chair back in that meeting in the pitch black with all these candles, and there's like two candles at each table, and the tables were like these long, you know, fold out tables. And we sat in this, you know, rectangle kind of thing. I just remember sitting there and just feeling so peaceful and so serene, you know? And then like sometimes like on my way home, I would go and get Tanya for a fountain pop. So I would like call Alex, and he would just be getting ready to go to bed. And I would say, okay, I'm gonna go get Tanya for a fountain pop, and then, and sometimes she went with me to the candlelights, but very rarely. And I would say, okay, I'm gonna go get Tanya for a fountain pop, and he'd be like, okay, I love you, I'm going to bed. Or sometimes I would just come home and go to bed. But that's also like a big period of me listening to audiobooks, because I was going back and forth so much. It was about a half an hour drive both ways, and so I was listening to a lot of audiobooks. But then I would get Tanya, and we would drive around for a little bit and talk and get a fountain pop. And I've never been somebody that has gotten really anything out of church. You know, I've never been somebody that goes into church or I've gone to lots of churches. Tons of meetings are in churches. Like almost most of the meetings that I go to are in churches. I don't mean that. I mean, I haven't gone to a church service where I've ever felt internally moved spiritually. I honestly can't think, outside of a funeral or, and not really even weddings, but outside of a funeral, one time that I've ever felt spiritually moved in a church. I just haven't. Like, that's not where I find it. I can't say that I haven't been moved by reading some scripture. I have been. I've been greatly moved at times by reading scripture. Like, I don't read it like on a regular basis, but like when it's like, you know, somebody will send me like a thing to read, or it'll be in a meditation book or something like quoted, you know, like there are times that like I find great comfort in that, but really more in the words, I would say. But those were really spiritual times for me, you know? And I think also partly because it reminded me of my early sobriety, when that's really all I had was a cup of coffee. I mean, really, that's all I had was a cup of coffee, you know, to my name. And there was something that was just greatly spiritual about those times. I was listening to all kinds of speaker leads, and I felt you know, like, my belief in a higher power is all over the place. I've kind of talked a little bit about it, but it's like I pull from a lot of different world religions. And that's okay. That's how I believe. You know, you take what you like and you leave the rest. Really, at the end of the day, for me, it's all about compassion, love, kindness, forgiveness, tolerance, understanding, being a good person, being the best person that you can possibly be, and putting the best out in the world, good out there in the world, and trying to improve as a human being. You know, we're gonna make mistakes, we're gonna make faults, and trying to learn from those and grow as people and grow as human beings, right? And then I believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, you know? Did I say that right? Yes. I think so. Spiritual beings having a human experience, yes. My old sponsor used to say that. And, it's there if I want it, and I have to look for it in ways. But there were many, many, many moments that I would be in a meeting or leave a meeting, and the crunch of the snow underneath my shoe on the way to the car, or just the lightly falling snow after a meeting, or the silence in the seconds, you know, after we closed a meeting, whatever, you know, like, that I felt the presence of God, or the presence of my higher power, in a way that I still do today, was so, like, that is what I seek, I think. And that doesn't mean that everything in your life is perfect, and everything in your life is, you know, just glitter and gold. But I think that comfort and that peace. Do you know what it is to me? I think it's I think like that busy nervousness of when you're stressed out and anxiety ridden, and it's like, right? Like, I have been that person, not just because I'm ADHD, but I have been that person for so much of my life, right? Just busy, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do that, right? That for me, those were moments of absolute solitude, where I just felt, you know, and to this day, like, when, like, well, before all this, but, like, you know, in meetings I would go to, where, like, that was, like, my time, you know, or if I'm listening to a lead or whatever, you know, or, like, on Monday nights when we do, because we're, like, I've got a group of friends that we're, like, reading, you know, it's like, I just try to stay present in that moment, and let the peace and the serenity come out. I know I use the words like peace and serenity and calm on, like, such a regular basis that it just feels so completely overused. But the reality is, I didn't really know the power of those words until they meant something to me after practicing them. The ability for me to sit on my back porch, okay? No phone, no Diet Coke. Diet Coke's, I guess, not too bad. But, you know, cup of coffee, whatever. But just sit and just listen and be part of the world, clearing my mind of everything, just looking out at the trees and the birds and noticing the world, because so often I have learned that the world is going on around me and I'm not even paying any attention to it. I'm, like, missing everything that's going on. So, whereas I couldn't do that 6 or 7 years ago, I can do that now. maybe for 5 or 10 minutes, you know, and then I start getting a little like, okay, gotta do this, you know what I mean? But that's 5 or 10 minutes is a lot longer than I could never have done it back in the day. Being able to drive around in a car with absolute silence, but just listening to the wind is so powerful to me in a way that 5 or 6 years ago, it had like really very little meaning to me. Okay, so the battery died, and I don't even really know like at what point it died, because I like looked up, and it's so hot too. The battery is so hot. I like looked up, and it was like the camera was retreating in itself, so it had been turned off for a while, and I don't want to like go in there and look. So, but I've been just talking about peace and serenity. You know, when I use the words that are probably so hokey to some people, because it would have been to me back in the day, peace, serenity, calm, like those are things to me that today are not luxuries. Like those are must-haves in my life today. But I don't know that I even, like as a 40-year-old man, I mean, truly, I mean, I'm 47 today. So take me back to 40. I don't even know that at 40, I truly understood what some of those concepts were. I really don't think I did. Like, I think if you had said to me, what is serenity? Like, I don't know that I had ever really experienced serenity in my life. And, I'm laughing because a very good friend of mine, her mom got a dog like for years and years ago. Actually, the dog just passed away recently. It's really sad. The dog was like 18, I think, but I remember when she got the dog and I said, what are you gonna name it? And she said Serenity, because I need a lot of it in my life right now. And, which is crazy because she was like one of the most spastic little dogs I've ever seen in my life, but it's very sweet. But you know, I don't know that I really understood what that meant. I don't know that I really did. And I probably thought it didn't really matter. But you know, like you think about like me being like sober, and like I can't tell you how many times I've said the Serenity prayer, you know? I mean, thousands at this point. Thousands of times I've said it. You know, when I first got sober, I would like knock on wood, and my counselor caught on to it. And so like anything, like any thought that would go through my head, I would like knock on wood, you know? And so like I was in group therapy and I'd be like this. Like I just real light, like you can't even hear it, right? But anyway, so she said to me one day, because I know what you're doing, and she's like, you're knocking on wood. She was like, what if every single time, like, you know, that happens that you started saying the Serenity prayer? And I was like, okay, I can do that. I mean, I think those first, like, that after that, I was literally saying it like 100 times a day. But anyway, you know, like anytime a negative thought would go through my head, I would say the Serenity prayer, which was a good lesson, you know? But, you know, I said that prayer so many times in my life, you know, like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But I don't know that I really understood what serenity meant. I don't know that I had any idea what that meant whatsoever, you know? And that it was an end result of some action that you had to do. Like, it didn't just happen, you know? When people are like, I need peace in my life. Well, I think peace is an end result of, like, doing some work and clearing your mind and ridding it of things that aren't necessarily necessities to a certain degree, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to ever, like, in talking about, like, clothes or whatever, you know, shoes or bags or lip balms or whatever. I don't want to ever lose my excitement or my interest in those things, because I do like that stuff. It's fun, you know, to, like, look at clothes shopping and, you know what I mean? Or, like, walk into a new hotel room. I enjoy that kind of stuff. I don't ever want to lose that. But I don't want to go back to when I thought that that was, like, I had to have it. Like, it was a priority. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go back to that. And today, like, Alex and I are still such kids when we walk into hotel rooms. Like, when we walk into a new hotel room that we haven't stayed in before, you know, like, at some place that we've gotten really excited about, we get so excited, you know? I actually talked to him tonight during our little date thing, and I was talking to him about, well, let me finish this really quick with the serenity thing. But, you know, I think if someone were to ask me, okay, how do I get peace? How do I get calm? How do I get serenity in my life? What I would say is, first you need to do some inventory. Sit down. You don't have to be in recovery to do inventory. You know, sit down and write down the things that are distracting you, you know? What I love is when you meet, because like, for me, the first thing I thought of was like, well, I have all these things I want to clean in my house, which is really literally like 2/3 less now than it was a year ago, because I've gotten so much stuff done. I mean, I joke about the basement, but like really literally every other cabinet in our house is like completely organized and clean, you know? So, but like, what are your distractions to serenity in your life? You know, like, do you wake up and you're like, if not, like, what's the things that are distracting that? Is it I'm not accomplishing my dreams, and so I'm beating myself up because I'm not doing something with my life that I want to? Is it because, you know, like, what is it? Like, what's distracting you? Is it, like, bad relationships that you have? Is it, you know, where's this unhappiness coming in your life? Like, do some inventory, write it down so you can see it on paper. You know, what am I unsatisfied and unhappy with in my life right now? And then what do you need to do about that is what you need to ask yourself. And are there things I can do about it, you know? And then I think it's just about practicing taking a few moments every day. You know, I cannot tell you, like, how many times when, like, people say to me, like, I'll say I do my meditations, my prayers every day, blah, 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 whatever. And I'll talk to somebody about, like, self-care, you know? Like, a friend of mine will be like, oh, you're just so good at self-care. I'm really not. Like, it takes a lot of work for me, you know? I mean, back in the day, I was, like, every night, I might maybe start this tonight. Back in the day, every night, I say this and then I don't do it, right? But the audiobooks are great self-care for me. But back in the day, you know, I would do the hydrating face mask, the lip mask. I did this whole thing every night before I went to bed, and it so relaxed me. And I haven't done that in a long time, you know? I really haven't. I mean, maybe here or there every once in a while, but not consistently. I haven't. But, you know, I'll have friends of mine, and they'll be like, you're just such a good job of self-care. Like, what do you think I should do? And I'm like, well, I mean, like, what can you take a bath? Oh, I'm like, I just don't have time to take a bath. I don't have time for a bath, like a bubble bath. I don't have time for that. Well, a bubble bath doesn't have to be 2 hours with candles lit and face masks, okay? A bubble bath literally can be 10 minutes. You run it, you get in it, you sit in it for 10 minutes, and you get out. And, you know, like, or I'll say friends of mine, like, well, do you, like, meditate, or, you know, like, do you have any kind of, like, spiritual thing that you do before you start your day? No, I'm always I run right out of the house, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can do that in the car, you know, like, you can have a conscious conversation with your higher power in a car, or if you have no higher power, you can listen to some music that's inspiring to you, whatever it is, you know? Sometimes, like, so I was talking the other day about that, Hope, from her channel is called Hope Tried It. She, like, did this song to Secondhand News by Fleetwood Mac. Well, I've literally listened to it every morning, and I'm always like dancing around listening to it. It just, like, gets me in such a good mood, you know, like the last couple days. And music is real inspiring and spiritual to me, even if it has no spiritual connotation to me. I mean, I don't have to listen to gospel music to get something spiritual going on in my life, you know what I mean? Like, I can listen to dance music and feel completely spiritual in my heart and soul. I can feel like one with the world, probably more so with, like, dance music than I do with, you know, like, I mean, and I like gospel music. Like, that's probably something that would surprise people, but I love gospel music. I have actually a lot of it downloaded on my iPad, or iPod, or whatever it's called. But, like, that doesn't necessarily make me feel spiritual sometimes when I listen to it. You know, sometimes if I'm listening to, you know, a Cascade mix, or, you know, why can't I think of her name right now? Oh my God. She's, like, my favorite DJ in the entire world. Why can't I think of her her name. And all I keep on thinking of is Rufus DeSole, who is Alex's like, you guys, I'm like losing little bits and pieces of, oh shoot, I just had it started. Nora En Pure. I didn't want to look it up because I'm like trying to like test my, you know. Nora En Pure, like I can listen to her music and I literally feel like spiritual. Like I feel so spiritual in that moment. So it doesn't have to be reading of a meditation or doing prayer. It doesn't have to be any of that. It doesn't have to be any kind of inventory. You can just like, you know, like even if you can't go anywhere, just like sitting on your back patio and just like listening to music and like having like a glass of sun tea or ice water and doing like a face mask, just like, yes, I'm like, you know, one with the earth right now, you know? But we can't do a little bit of self-care. Like I've had so many friends be like, well, I don't even have like 10 minutes during the day. You know, like the kids are so busy and I've got this. You don't have 10 minutes during the day, like to do some self-care. Like that's sad, you know? I'm probably going to step on some toes when I say this. Nobody needs you that much that you can't take 10 minutes out of a 24-hour day, the period. And if they do, then you need to realign your life and look at it. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you have no business taking care of somebody else, you know? That's like a broken down car that's trying to give rides to everybody in one city. Like the car's going to eventually break down. And then what are you going to do when it breaks down? You know? You got to take care of yourself. It's vital. Okay. Let's read just a few comments tonight because I want to end this. Oh my God, I've gone longer than I want to, honestly. Won't you lay me down in the tall grass and let me do my stuff? See, I've got that song stuck in my head. Okay. Oh my Lord. 3,000 views already, okay. Average view duration is up. Okay. Chelsea said, Peter, I'm listening to Molly's Game on Audible because of you, but have you heard about how Andy Cohen is not able to donate blood as a COVID-19 survivor because he's gay? Something must be done in America. We cannot go on like this. We are better than this. It was shocking to me that he cannot donate blood as a COVID survivor because he's gay. Maddening. Yes, that's been my experience since I was 18 years old. I actually heard recently that they changed that or something. I thought, like, I mean, literally just within the last couple of months, I had heard that they changed that law. Maybe it was just in Indiana. I don't know. That they changed that law or something like that. I feel like somebody told me that recently. I actually feel like I even talked about it in a vlog. But no, that's been a long-standing thing, that gay men can't donate blood. That was like a big deal back in the day with Ryan White. Like, if you guys remember Ryan White, I don't know if you do. It's weird because like people like internationally know Ryan White, but like Ryan White is literally from like 40 minutes from where I'm at. And the movie, the Lifetime movie about Ryan White, it starts off at this roller skating rink called USA Skate that I used to go to when I was a kid. And I can remember when it started, like the movie started, my hair's getting so long, look at this. When the movie started, it showed like USA Skate. And I was like, oh my God, I used to go to that. But anyway, Ryan White was this kid. He had a lot of celebrity friends, and he was a hemophiliac, and he got HIV, I believe. He was like one of the first like huge cases that got it as a result of like a blood transfusion. So at that time, it was like a huge story that like gay men weren't donating blood and blah, 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 whatever. And it was all like around that time that I think that's when that was implemented, but I could be completely wrong. But I just remember there being a lot of talk at that time about stuff. And so I don't know, but like, yeah, I've always known that I couldn't donate blood. Charlotte said, 2 hours, you spoil us, Peter, love you, and our wolf pack, love you too. Angela said, thank you for the book recommendations and stories. The vlog was over 2 hours, but time seemed to fly by. Let me ask you guys a question really quick, because it really makes no difference to me. Would it be better for you guys if, like, I did, like, a long one and then a short one to catch up? Like, and I mean a short one of, like, 40 minutes. Like, I can do that. Like, could you put, it's not going to hurt my feelings either. Like, if you say, yeah, I would appreciate that, or, like, tomorrow, would you like me to do a shorter one so you guys can catch up? I've done several long ones, you know, this week. Let me know in the comment section. I mean, I can do that. Whatever's easiest for you guys. Magic Me said, I'm reading that vampire book on Kindle right now and I'm having a fun time. I keep putting it down to flutter my fingers and going, ooh. Then I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you, weirdo? And I start reading again. It's so good, but it's like, well, first of all, it's like you get like into the really, really good part, and then it like, well, I don't want to say, like, it's not a dull book. Like, it never slows down for 1 minute. It's really good. But, like, what you think it's going to be is not, like, what it is. But it's really interesting. Austin said, I checked every room in the house before going to bed after listening to your scary stalker stories. You better. Sarah said, finally watching you after a good productive day. Stay safe out there, everyone. Love you, Peter. Love you, too. Iris said, enjoying the vlog with pizza rolls that I subconsciously bought today thanks to you and Alex. Oh, my God, I want pizza rolls so bad. But I have pizza, so that's okay. Annette said, I was hot in bed last night. Peter, family friendly. I didn't even think about that until you just put this. That's funny. Connie said, Peter is inching his way to that 3-hour vlog. I'm here for every minute, no matter how long. Sending love to you, everyone. Who's really serious about the 3-hour vlog? Okay, let me ask you why. Because A, the 3-hour vlog is a real commitment for me, okay? Number one. Like, if I do it once, I probably won't do it again. I'm just going to say, okay? Unless just by accident it happens. But, like, it's become kind of a running joke over here that people want, like, a 3-hour vlog. If you really want me to do that, put it in the comment section below. I figured out how I'm going to do it. And if I do it, I probably will do it sometime in the next month. So let me know if you're really wanting that. But, like, I don't want to do a 3-hour vlog and then have everybody listen to 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, then that's me sitting in a car for 2.5 hours talking to no one. Like, that's a long time to talk to yourself with nobody listening, I'm just going to say, okay? And quite frankly, that's a movie I could be watching. So, Monica said, glad you're feeling better. Glad you look like you're feeling better. Oh, thank you. Marissa said, Oreos are getting me through this quarantine. You know what's so funny about that? I was thinking about this last night. Like, I haven't been really eating, other than the peanut butter things, like a lot of sweets. Like, I have like a whole entire bag, I gotta remember that, of peanut butter M&Ms in there. I've got like boxes of like movie candy in case we watch, like, have like a movie night, and we like really haven't had like a movie night yet. And so, although there's been like 3 or 4 movies that I want to watch, we maybe need to do that one night. The thing is, I get so tired at like 10 or 11 and then I want to lay down, so, Amanda Lynn said, I'm on day 6 of 7 14-hour days at work. Oh man, I'm in healthcare and it's so nice to come home and watch you and decompress. Thank you for your work. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being my escape. I always crack a Coke Zero with you. I also have been drinking too much soda. I'll have to slow down on that one too. Love you. And then Ben gave a response. It was really nice. Take care of yourself. It is really hard out there right now. I admire our nurses, doctors, farm techs, CNAs, MAs, cafeteria staff, and environmental service teams. I am a hospital volunteer, but are right now going to school for nursing. Thank you for saying that. I think that that probably echoes a lot of how we're all feeling, you know? Ooh, McKenna said, Peter, have you used the website justwatch.com? If you type your movie or TV show title into their search, it will tell you if it is available to stream anywhere. I did not know that. Justwatch.com. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna forget this. Okay, let's go look and see. Justwatch.com. Okay. Let's go. Here it is. Search a Smoky Mountain Christmas. Doesn't have it. What's Sweet Mountain Christmas? Doesn't have it. I'm disappointed. What was that one I looked up on Amazon not too long ago? Playing for Time. Playing for Time. Yep, they have it right here. Movie 1980. It says it's on Netflix. Oh, I don't believe that. Is it on Netflix? That would be weird. Because that's like a made-for-TV movie from a long time ago. Playing for... We looked up on the Amazon Prime, it was on there. Oh my god, it is! Oh my god, I cannot believe it. Captured by Nazis and sent to Auschwitz, a Jewish musician is assigned to soothe other prisoners marching to their deaths in the gas chambers. Such a good movie. So tragic. Oh my god, I can't believe it. What else? What are the other movies that I love from back in the day? Wonder why Smoky Mountain Christmas isn't on here. Maybe I spelled it wrong. Smoky. I did spell it wrong. No. What's something else that I want to look up? This is great. I need to remember this. I'm dreaming of a Smoky Mountain Christmas. Let's look up Season of Miracles. It's my other favorite Christmas movie. Season of Miracles. No. There's some movie, but it's not the movie that I'm looking at. But those are like made for TV movies, so maybe that's why. Is this an app too? You can download the app. Okay, well, wait. Get personal recommendations for movies and TV shows available on Netflix. Let's get started. Which one do you like better? Oh, that's easy. Oh, it gives you recommendations for stuff. Yeah, I don't need all that. I just want to be able to look up movies. Just watch. Hold on a second. Can you download the app? I want the app. Unless I have to pay for it, then I don't want the app. Just watch. Okay, here it is. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to get off here now. And I'm going to figure this out later. But anyway, I don't know much about clothes, but my hair looks fierce. When I can finally go back and get a haircut again. Anyway, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I was talking to Tanya about this. Like, even if I could go in and get a haircut, like, let's say if they reopen the hair salons, right? Like, how do you wear a mask and then they cut around all this? Like, it seems like it would be real difficult to me. I don't know how we're going to do that, you know? Doesn't it make you wonder? Doesn't it make you wonder? Anyway, I just write my own songs all the time. Okay, let's make this a real fast outro. Bye! No. Thank you guys for watching tonight. I really, really appreciate it. You are helping me so much by giving me a place to come and just like talk every night and be like, oh, and whatever. And, I look forward to it every day, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you for that. Please put in the comment section below, like how you feel about the long versus the short vlogs and the 3-hour vlog and all that. I would really appreciate it. If you've made it this far, please put a blue heart in the comment section for the OG Wolfpack, all of us over here, just trying to get by in life and be the best version of ourselves we can be. And then put whatever kind of emoji you want to put, all kinds of colors for the essential workers. I think that would be great. And then, let's see. And also make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up. I know it doesn't seem like it matters, but it really does matter to me, and I really appreciate it. In fact, if you could start every vlog with just giving the video a thumbs up, I would really, really appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. And make sure that you're still subscribed to this channel, as well as my other channels, please. And yeah, so I hope you're having an amazing, God, I can't believe it's the weekend already. Thank God it's Friday. Friday's over, it's Saturday. I hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday, whatever you're doing. I hope you're having an amazing Saturday unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something really exciting and fun today, or just relax like I did today. It was really nice, and you deserve it. So each one of us deserves a little bit of relaxation, and start something really fun. If you're looking for a great book, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, my neighbor just got up, is fantastic. Right on time. It's almost 5 o'clock, and it's fantastic. He usually gets up a little bit earlier than this, actually. So you should check it out, and make sure to do something today. Make sure to do something today that will make yourself proud when you look back on it tomorrow, or 2 days from now, next week, a year from now, 60 years, 69, family friendly, years from now. Do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it, whenever. And let's see. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I do. I love you. I appreciate you for listening to me every single day. And it's crazy that I'm the one that gets the thanks for doing the vlog, but I appreciate and thank you for giving me a place to come and talk, because if nobody was listening, there would be no vlog to make, right? So you guys are really the ones that are doing me the honor, and I appreciate it. I love you, so thank you for that. And make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say to yourself, you are valuable, you are important, I love you, you matter, you are worthy, and good things are coming your way, and you're a good person. And yeah. And then also say to yourself every night before you go to bed, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. It's going to be the best day I've had all week. When you get up, say, today is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to have a great day today. And it's going to be the best day I had all week, and all year. And if it doesn't turn out to be that way, you can start your day over whenever you want. It's real simple. And just say, hey, start my day over right now. I've had it. I'm not going down that negative road anymore. I'm starting my day over. I have to do this all the time. So trust me, if I can do it, we can all do it. Most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you and that you're thinking of them. And you can just reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm thinking of you. Just want to let you know that you mean the world to me, and thank you for being in my life, or whoever, just whatever you want to say. Just let somebody know that they matter. I think that's the easiest part of that, just by texting somebody and saying that you're thinking of them, lets them know, hey, I matter to somebody. And I think we all want to matter to somebody. I know there have been points in my life where just to get a text or a phone call from somebody to say, you're important enough for me to pick up the phone to call, was life-changing, So if we could all do that for one person out there, I think that would be great. It could really help somebody's life or make their day today, And also make sure that you're practicing random acts of kindness, but don't tell anyone. Keep it to yourself, because we're just trying to put good out there in the world and do good deeds. And it also makes us feel better. The more you practice doing good deeds and not telling anybody, you'll realize that you're really doing it out of purity of heart, and then you do feel better inside, because you don't need the accolades and the pats on the back, because you're doing it just because it's the right thing to do, is to be a good person, And I think that's it. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know what you want for the next vlog, how long. And I love you, and I will see you then tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Same place, same time. Diet Coke? Okay, I'll see you then. Bye. Love ya!